Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review and glucose test of the Live Carb Smart English Muffins from Aunt Millie's. I have not had an English muffin in the over 6 years that I've been keto, but prior to going keto, I loved English muffins. I love them for breakfast sandwiches, and I really love them for Eggs Benedict. Now typically when I do bread reviews, I will have one slice of bread, plain, untoasted, and one slice toasted with butter. And the reason I do this, there's actually two. One is to be consistent, from one bread product to the next, every one I'm testing the same. But also, a lot of these low-carb or keto-branded breads, the texture changes significantly and sometimes the taste as well when I toast it. In fact, there have been some breads that literally start to dissolve when I put butter on them. So that's why I test this way. However, for these English muffins, I don't ever foresee a time when I would eat one just plain without any sort of fat or protein. So I will be toasting both halves of an English muffin and buttering them. And I realize that this is going to blunt the glucose response a little bit more than normal, but we'll take that into account when we see what the glucose response is. So let's start with the nutritional information. Serving size is 1 English muffin, 70 calories, 1 gram of total fat, 19 grams of total carbohydrates. So if you're counting total carbs, these probably aren't for you. However, 12 of those grams are dietary fiber for a net 7. And protein comes in at 9 grams. Now the ingredient list on this is definitely not clean keto. In fact, I'm not sure that I would call it keto. It's low carb, maybe. But let's talk about ingredients. Here we go. Water, so far so good. Modified wheat starch, wheat protein isolate, inulin, oat fiber, wheat gluten, yeast, yellow corn flour, yellow corn meal, wheat protein, cultured wheat flour, sugar, salt, soybean oil, vinegar, potassium sorbate, fumaric acid, maltodextrin, triglycerides, cornstarch, natural flavors, natamycin, and ascorbic acid. Normally, I would take a product like this, I would read the ingredients at the store and put it back on the shelf. But I really want an English muffin. So we're going to give these a try. Let's start by taking a look at the texture inside, see if it's got all those nooks and crannies like an English muffin ought to have. So these English muffins are fork split, and looking at the insides, I'm going to bring this closer to the camera. You can see that it doesn't have those big nooks and crannies going on. It just seems sort of like a dense bread. And now that I think about it, I will just take one bite untoasted just to see what it's like. The taste on this is straight up Wonder Bread. And the texture is a lot like somebody took some Wonder Bread and kind of smashed it. It doesn't have that slightly tangy sourdough taste that sometimes English muffins have. And, yeah, it's very much like a cheap commercial white bread. The chew just isn't there either. Usually an English muffin has got a really good chew to it. Not so much here. But let's see what they're all about toasted. So I have my toasted and buttered English muffin here. Honestly, what this has going for it pretty much is just the butter. This just tastes like any sort of commercial bread to me, commercial white bread. This is not scratching my itch for an English muffin. But I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm wearing a Dexcom G7 continuous glucose monitor, and what I will do is see what the impact was on my glucose over the next 2 hours from eating this, and I'll be back to let you know. All right, I am back and ready to see what impact that Live Carb Smart English Muffin had on my glucose. So I'm going to be using the Levels Health Analysis app. I will link to that down below in the description if you're interested in more information on that and how to measure your metabolic health, get a CGM, etc. Link down below. Let's take a look. Levels scored this a 4 out of 10. That is not a very good score. 10 is perfect. 4, not so good. Let's take a look at the details. 38 points of glucose movement. A spike is considered 30. I'm going to jump back to the Dexcom app and check this out. My glucose still 2 hours and 10 minutes later is elevated. I started this at a 90. I am still at a 105. From time to time, I can be a little bit conflicted in my reviews. Not in this case. The Live Carb Smart English Muffin went 0 for 3 in terms of ingredients, taste, and blood glucose response. This was a fail. And I'm pretty sure that 6-pack of English muffins was over $7. So if we incorporate that into it, I would call that a fail as well. So if you're looking for a viable keto or low-carb English muffin, I'm going to say this probably isn't it. Now, I'm going to give Aunt Molly's another chance next month when I try out their Hawaiian roll. I have yet to find a keto Hawaiian roll that really does it for me. Maybe this will be the one. I don't know. Check back next month. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please click that like button. If you're not a subscriber already, tap that subscribe button, then hit the bell to turn on all notifications. And if you always want to stay on top of what's going on with Serious Keto, I will include a link down below in the description to the Serious Keto newsletter. It comes out once a week, no spam, and I will never give your email to anybody. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.